That's what
There you go.
I want. Okay. Hi, Ava. How you doing?
Good, good.
Good, good. Well, hi, everybody, and welcome back to Punchlines, Plots, and Procrastination, where we are going to talk about anything and everything from an idea to publication. I'm your host, Yvonne, and today we're diving into the art of creating unforgettable characters, whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction. An unforgettable character makes the difference. So, what makes a character truly come alive for readers? And how do we write real people in a way that keeps readers engaged from the beginning to the end? Well, recently, I read a novel called Forever Julia by Ava Zacardi. And the characters pretty much danced off the page for me. I knew I had to talk to her. So today I've invited Ava to share her insights on crafting characters that feel so real that your readers cannot forget them. I'm thrilled to welcome SUNY Binghamton and Syracuse University graduate and author of 3 novels, Ava Zacardi. Ava, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, I got to tell you, I read Forever Julia because that's the only one I could get a hold of at the time, which I understand now is the last
Yeah.
of the 3 books. But then I got a hold of this one, and then I got a hold of this one, and I can't get off the couch because I'm doing nothing but reading your books.
Well,
So,
that's good. That's a good sign.
tell me a little bit about you. Like how did you grow up? Are these characters from your childhood?
Um, they're inspired by my childhood. I'll put it that way. I grew up on Long Island in a very Italian family,
Yeah.
and big, lots of relatives, and I spent a lot of time in Astoria, New York, which is the setting for my first novel, basically. And our childhood memories are always so very special to us. And so when I started writing, I had written a sci-fi novel before.
Oh,
And and it was, in Australia, outer space. And I went back to what I had learned a long time ago about write what you know. And also, I remember a professor told my husband, when you have something to say, you'll be a good writer. So
boy,
I felt like, um,
that's pretty good advice.
yeah, that I had reached the place where I actually have something to say.
Yep.
And that's, so I had stopped writing for a very, very long time.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I did in college. Then I got married. I'm an artist. I had a career in teaching art. I still
Oh,
teach art. And
okay.
at Oasis in Syracuse here.
Mhm.
And I have these students who always wanted to learn how to paint. And they didn't think they could do it. And I've seen this remarkable thing where people who late in life start doing something they always wanted to do. So I took this class with Linda Lowen. She's our
Oh,
local
yeah. I know.
journalist,
I
also
know. Yeah.
my writing coach now. And I took this little memoir class and I started writing again.
Hmm.
And she's the one who I finally listened to when she said that I'm a good writer, because people have told me that my whole life, but I never listened. I decided, well, I'm pretty old. If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So, the
Well,
pandemic helped
yeah.
because
I will
I started
say,
writing again. That's what happened.
I'm going to comment on that one remark. I'm pretty old, and if I don't do it now, listen, I'm 74. I think I'm producing better materials now than I ever have. And I think, it takes a while. We have to live life in order to write about it, right?
That's right. Right.
So the older I get, the better I think I am at what I'm doing, and probably you as well. I want to talk a little bit about the characters because
Okay.
that's what we are. First, let me tell you, I feel like I'm reading about my family because I
That's
grew
it.
up in a
Yeah.
very big Italian family as well.
Hmm.
So you've captured the essence of. It's almost like when you're talking about these characters, I can smell the sauce. You know what I mean?
Right. And
So
that's
yeah,
what I try to convey, the basil in the kitchen and all
yes,
that
yes,
smell. It's just a memory that pops up.
It is, and it's
Yeah.
great. So what usually comes to you first? Is it the character or is it the story itself? What when you're writing, when you sit down to write, what is it that comes in your head first?
That's a hard question to answer because I'm a visual person, and so I don't sit down to write. I go for walks and I think, and as I'm walking, things come to me, and I kind of, it's like a puzzle. I try to figure out how it's going to work. Like this, how I started this first novel about Julia was just a childhood memory of me being at Sunken Meadow State Park on a swing.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I was thinking, there's this family, these family stories about women just dying in their kitchens. There's a
Oh,
couple of family stories. I was just thinking, how can I make this into something?
yeah,
And Julia came to me. She's an artist, so I understand how she looks at the world. It's a very visual thing. And I don't know. I just get a little spark of imagination. Then I create circumstances where these characters have to react to them. And that's how their personality comes out by creating these crazy little incidents that
yeah,
make them come alive.
yeah.
You know,
Wow.
it's
That's interesting.
so
I
I have a picture in my head when I'm writing. I have a movie in my head. And then I
okay.
sit down and then I just start typing away because I can see everything's happening like I've let it, Julia is like Julia the therapist. So I'm in that office. I'm imagining what one person says
Yeah.
and she reacts. And I think that's how I build my characters. Same thing, those big dinner scenes.
Yeah. Oh, those big dinner scenes.
Yeah,
I love them. I mean, but
yeah,
I have to tell you, that's exactly how it is in our family. Everybody talks at once, but
right.
you really have mastered how to get that feeling out and still make it a good read. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
That's not an easy thing to do, to have everybody talking at once and it still makes sense.
I
God
think
bless you.
if you're writing, one thing is that less is more, is that you give enough when you're, especially dialogue, you give enough to the reader to understand it, but you let their imagination work in
Okay.
the scene. So you do less is more.
That's
And
interesting.
also just listen. If you, I've spent a lot of time sitting at that table listening to people,
Hmm.
and it's like a little recorder's going on in my head. And if I was, a new writer, I would go sit in Panera with the refillable cup of coffee and
Yep.
eavesdrop on people because that's how you hear the cadence of different voices, how
I agree
different
with
people
you.
express themselves. So that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
How they
I like
speak.
to do that at the airport because
Yeah,
I'm
another
back to
good
back
place.
with people. So
Hmm.
I will purposely sit where I see people are talking to one another and they're behind me, but I'm listening to everything they're saying. And oftentimes I have my notebook open and I'll just write word for word what they said because it's a real conversation. And
Yeah,
that way you can learn how to write real conversation by
right.
listening to real conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's
I mean, it
great.
comes pretty naturally to me, but I think it's because of the way I grew up and the way my family is now. I still have the big Italian family.
Yeah.
And, so
Of course. Well, I can't wait to read the rest of these. I picked these two up at the library, but
mhm,
it was on a waiting list, so somebody's reading your books, that's for sure.
that's
And
good.
the other one, the first one I went online and got a digital copy. I
Mhm.
don't care to read books online. I want them in my hand. I want to feel them. I want to smell them. I want to turn the pages back and forth. That's how I like to read.
I
Uh,
know and see, it's heresy for me to say this, but I prefer the digital because you
do
can
you?
take off your glasses, turn your Kindle on at night and read, not wake up your husband.
Oh,
It's like,
well,
it's
I don't have
perfect.
that. I don't have that problem because I haven't had a husband in a long time. But
So you can relate to Julia. See, I've been married to the same man for a very long time.
yeah,
So, people ask me if she's like me. No, not
yeah,
really. Not
that was
really.
my next question, actually.
Yeah. No, I mean, she's well, I can be abrasive sometimes, of course, but she starts out as a kind of abrasive and, um, depressed, multiple marriages.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, that's not me, but, her heart's good.
yeah,
And I kind of build on that and
yeah. I
her
I
wit.
I looked what well, of course I read the last book first, so I really didn't get you know, Julia was already passed away in the last book.
Mhm.
And I heard about her. But then I started reading the first book and then I got to really know her. And oh my goodness, she's so similar to some of my aunts who have had real tragedy in their lives.
Yeah.
And they carry it with them.
Yeah.
And boy, you got that down pat. That's great. So, what do you think makes a character unforgettable in your opinion? Like what particular thing, like how do you try to achieve that in your own writing, or do you?
Oh, no, I try. I think you start out maybe seeing the growth of a person. First, there's something in the character that you recognize in yourself. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of women with Julia or her daughters see themselves or parts of their family in that. And so I think right away they're rooting for her. And so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they share, and
Yeah.
I think because they're rooting for her, some of the crazy things that my characters do that are really not smart, they have empathy for her. And I think
Mhm.
if you could create a character that makes mistakes, but people are, you know, empathetic towards, it's like, yay! I think
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing. And so I tried that. I think the other one is showing her their relationships with each other is a really important part of it.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
Julia and her daughter Bella, her
Yeah.
granddaughter Bella.
I saw it's interesting. I
Yeah.
saw myself and my mother, and
Hmm.
I saw that relationship, and then I saw my relationship with my daughter in a lot of the conversations. So I
Yes.
was like, wow, I'm not. And I think this is a thing when you're reading a book and you see yourself in the character, then you think, I'm not alone.
Hmm.
This is not, what's happening in my life isn't just me. There's a lot of people in the world that are going through the same thing. So in
Right.
many ways, I think it's comforting to read
Yeah.
the
And
characters.
the other thing, I was surprised. And some of the book clubs that I've gone to,
Yeah.
uh, they people really like the supernatural part of it, where you
Oh,
know
yeah.
she sees things or she hears her mother, a lot hears her mother's voice and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of us don't want to admit that we want to believe these things, and I think that part of it is very people just love those parts of the book. So you
Well,
know,
I'll tell you, in my faith walk,
mhm.
I, I'm very careful about, I don't want to get into witchcraft or anything
Oh
like
no,
that.
it's not
So at first I was like, oh boy, but honestly, my mother had that kind of I guess it's a sixth sense.
Yep.
She knew things before they would happen. Like we'd be sitting in the kitchen and having coffee and she'd say, my sister's going to call. And 2 seconds later, the phone would ring and it would be her sister from Pennsylvania. And I'm like, how did you know? I don't know. I just knew, It's interesting how that is a real thing. I've seen
Yeah.
it in my
Yeah.
mom. Like she would know stuff. And my sister one time said, I called her on the phone to tell her that one of our aunts had passed away. And she goes, no, wait, I got to tell you something. You're not going to believe this. But last night I heard noise in the kitchen and I got up and I went in the kitchen and I saw Aunt so and so walking right through the walls. I'm like, that's what I'm calling to tell you. She died last night. So then we figured, well, she must have been going there to say goodbye to my sister.
Yeah. I know. I mean, these
It's weird,
things,
isn't it?
yes, these things, there's no way to explain them.
No.
You know, it's kind of an interesting facet of life. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's not the main thing of it, but I put that in just to show the whole person
It's
and all
real.
the things that go on in your life
Yeah,
and, you can't explain, but
right.
so,
Well, now I have a question for you
sure.
because these are three books and they're not tiny books either. They're a good
No,
size.
80,000 words each.
80,000 words each. Wow. Okay. How do you keep one character kind of growing through all of these books. I mean, you got three books.
Mhm.
That's three, almost like three generations, kind of,
Right.
sort of. Um, but yet Julia is a prominent character in all three books.
Yeah.
That must
Well, I I would recommend for any writer to have a critique group.
a
So
what?
for any writer to have a critique group where
Oh,
I
oh,
am,
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and as I'm writing, I share my chapters, and my people in my critique group right away, they'll say, Julia wouldn't do that. Bella
Oh,
wouldn't say that.
oh,
And they make you
think.
think again. So they kind of keep me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
the other way is that it's just such, it was very sad ending this series. It's just part of me that I just know how they would act.
hmm hmm
Um, and
Well, because you
I don't
you
think
know your
that's the hard
character.
part. That's not the hard part,
Yeah.
really, of it
Yeah.
is to keeping the character. I think it's
Yeah.
more creating a good story to go along with it all.
But you did keep the characters consistent as
Yeah.
far as I've read. Now I haven't read the third book and I'm halfway through. Wait, I read the third one. I'm halfway through the first one. I have not
And
read the second one, but it seems like I know who everybody is. Isn't that interesting how you can keep all those characters?
well, and the other thing is that they grow, but they two steps forward, one step back. So you
Yeah,
always have that natural thing that people do. We go forward, then we fail again. So,
yeah.
I have that going on with them. That keeps them
Now,
in
when you're
character.
writing the story, do your characters ever do something? Because I know sometimes when I'm writing, I just spill everything out and then I go back and rewrite. And when I spill everything out, sometimes I'm like, wow, I never thought she would do that. Like,
Um,
or do you pretty much keep
no,
control over all
that
that?
no, that not. I kind of know.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no. I know some people. I mean, everybody has a different way of approaching writing.
Sure. Sure.
Mine's a little Mine's a little different, I guess, because I'm writing the pictures I see in my head,
Yeah.
and something
Okay. Well,
that's kind of as I'm writing, I have little inspirations and change things, but I kind of know
you
ahead of
know, you
time.
know where you're going
Yeah, I know where I'm
with
going.
it. Yeah.
Not the whole book, but I know each chapter at a time. I know,
Yeah.
and I write. That's the other thing. I write in order. So some people write the ending chapters and they go back and forth.
Right. And you
I
write
know
in
Ann
order.
Patchett does this too. By writing in order, it helps keeps you on target for how the person is progressing. You're not thinking about so much how they're going to be at the end of the book. You're thinking about what's happening to them at the moment. And that's also why I write in
Interesting.
present tense to make it more real.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
so I think that's a technique that helps keep you, because if you keep going back and forth and back and forth, you have to remember how they were at the end of the book, which might cause a little bit of a
Yeah.
problem for you as you're writing.
One question I did have, because I took some classes in college about writing, and this professor said you always have to have a background. Like, do you do that, write a character background sheet? Like, oh, there's a better word for it. I forgot what it's called, but
Oh, no, I don't do any of that stuff.
no, I
All
don't
the,
either. But
all
I
the things
wonder
that you're
because
supposed to, and it works for some people, but
backstory.
I don't make grocery lists either. I just remember things, and
Good for you.
I don't write. I'm not organized in that way.
Oh, okay.
So, maybe a few years from now, I'm going to have to start writing things down, but at the moment, I'm
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
okay.
Let's talk about because you write different generations. So like
Right.
the kids in the third book, the kids around the
Yeah.
pool and all that. Oh my gosh, I could see them. So like how do you get inside the head of a little kid?
Well, I had my own children, and I did have twins, and that's Andrea had
Oh,
twins in that book. So
yep, yep, yep.
I've had that experience, but now I have eight grandchildren,
Oh,
ages 8 months to 14. and there are a lot of boys,
Hmm.
and I'm with them a lot because they're all locally. So
Oh, that's nice.
they keep me current in how kids are acting and things that they
Yeah.
say, and
Yeah.
so I think that's it. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's what it is. I'm
Kids
just
around.
around them all the time.
Well, I guess I would say that to anyone that is looking to become a stronger writer or author is that you really have to be observant, don't you think?
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, I watch how people older than me walk, how they hold themselves,
right.
the things they say, and I do that as well with children, my grandchildren. And of course, the thing that I think some of us have to remember is that the grandchildren of today are different from the grandchildren
Yeah,
of a generation ago, completely
yeah.
different. I
Well,
had a talk with my grandson about that the other day.
yeah, very luckily they can help me with all my computer issues. So,
That's
good.
that's a good thing.
But
Yeah.
one of the things, too, it was in my writing, in my critique group, I have this one character who says something that really is not politically correct.
Hmm.
And they said, well, you can't say that. And I'm saying, I can say that
Yes, you
because it's
can.
not
Yeah.
me. And I think, I think as a writer, sometimes we have our little circle of people that we're always with. And I think you have to try and understand the other side, how other people feel about things, how
Hmm.
people that are very different from you might react, and not just their reaction, but their emotional core of
Hmm. Hmm.
why they are like that, and not be judgmental. So, I have because I still teach, I just know a lot. I just meet a lot of people, and I meet a lot of people through my husband's work.
Hmm.
So, you have to, as a writer, you have to be open. Like, I can almost write a sympathetic thing about Donald Trump because I know that Queens guy. I know that personality.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That that there's a certain thing that makes a person what they are. And if you understand that, you can create these characters if you know where they're coming from. So I would, as a writer, you have to just be very open, very forgiving, and I think it just makes your story better because they're real. This is real. People are really like this. They're not all, they're not all like me.
Right, right, right. All right, let's talk a little bit about the dialogue because in the stories that I've written or read about in your books thus far, your dialogue flows beautifully.
Mhm,
So, how do you make sure that each and every character, because you have so many people in these books? I
mhm.
mean, I don't think I've ever read books with so many characters, different characters in them. But they all sound like themselves. If somebody was talking and you didn't say said so and so, I'd know who it was.
Right. Well, well, the
Like
man,
Julia and Lorraine,
yeah,
their characters are similar, but yet I'd know which one was talking.
right. Because Julia's more caustic and Lorraine is more
Kind.
reserved, so you always have to keep that in mind. And even the little taglines that you put on, subconsciously, people are going to know, like if Lorraine is wringing her hands or Sam brushes back his hand,
Mhm.
that action
Tells you.
implies an emotion. So you add an emotional level to the dialogue
Mm.
that if you just wrote it, sometimes it might fall flat. But I don't put a ton of taglines, but I do use them for that kind of emphasis, always some kind of physical action that helps explain what's going on.
Yes.
So, and I don't know.
There was a scene
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
first book where Sam is sitting in his living room, and I think he was watching TV, and the dog came up on his lap.
Hmm.
It was before he went to Florida. And I could, honestly, I'm not puffing you up or anything, 'cause I really don't
Go
know you
ahead,
that
puff
well.
away.
But I'll be honest with you. normally I'm really critical of
Hmm.
other writers because I know how to write. And
Hmm.
so I
Yes,
am
I've
like,
read. I've been reading your book.
have you read my book?
I'm halfway through the
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
anyway, in that moment, I'm telling you, Ava, I could feel him petting the dog.
Hmm.
That's amazing that you were able
Well,
to do that.
this is my advice. Close your eyes, pretend you're there,
Yeah.
and write what you see. Write what you see and what you feel. Don't just it's it's the whole thing. It's the whole picture that your experience as a human being is. It's
Mhm.
very, tactical, whatever.
I know what you
Things
mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
the things you touch, the things you see, what you feel, that's all part of it. And you have to try and not give too much because that's overriding, but enough that somebody can imagine it in their own head of what it might be like,
Yeah.
especially if
I
you've had
mean,
a dog. I've
that
had a
scene,
dog. Yeah,
that was amazing to me.
yeah.
Oh,
Or
I
talking,
actually,
like you talk to your dog and all that stuff
yeah,
and things
yeah,
like that. So
yeah. That was,
that's the other thing, like the male characters too are, well, you know, on those I rely more on men I've known in my life a little bit than the women
okay.
because I know what it's like to be a woman. Um, and like Sam is I actually named it after my Uncle Sam who died young. And he was this wonderful, kind man, but he
Hmm.
never got to, get married and live. And so I picture how he would be in the
Oh,
future. And
I see.
that's Sam and like Pete.
Oh,
That's that's all my husband's friends that went to CBA, one in particular, but they're all but they're cream puffs.
oh my gosh.
They're these
That's
big
funny.
macho men, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but they're
I knew a
not
few
really.
CBA guys in my time.
Yeah, yeah, I'm married to one. So,
Oh,
they're all, but they're very kind people, but they come off, with that bravado kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So, I just think That's that's how you do it. The
Yeah.
kids are easy for me because I love writing the little kid stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't think in any way, shape, or form that you use stereotypes. It's like it's yes, you're writing about an Italian family, but there's no like mafia kind of,
Oh no, we're not
bull.
mafia.
Which,
We're intellectuals.
well, but that's the thing. I mean, we didn't have that in my family. So
No.
why would I put it on the page? You know what I mean? So I think you did a, a beautiful job with all of that. I,
Well,
I'm very
and
impressed.
I think, I mean, I know it's Italian, but the immigration, which I touch on in a very in a way in my last novel, is th- all of us who've come to America, our first and second generations, it doesn't matter what country you're from, if you're Polish or whatever,
Yeah.
it's that same experience of, these tight-knit families
Yes.
and
Yeah, I agree.
it's just the Italian version. And actually, it sounds crazy, but this last one was partially inspired by current events, but also Pope Francis, who I loved.
Oh,
Is that this thing about accepting people and how, the world can be
yep.
very upsetting and stink, but there's the humanity and the
Hmm.
humanity of people
Yeah,
that that makes the world still a good place. And
I see.
I try to convey that in my last novel more strongly than maybe the others.
Yeah, I saw
Say that,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
you
to
did.
say
You did
that,
a good
you
job.
know,
Well, we
there's a
don't have
lot
an
of
awful lot of
great,
time left, but if
yeah,
one of your characters could sit here with us right now and be interviewed instead of you,
uh-huh.
who would you pick? And what do you think that character would say about you as their creator?
Well, Julia, she'd probably say I had some hell of a nerve
I
putting
love
her,
it.
putting all her personal business out there
Oh, oh gosh.
because,
Yeah,
who
of
wants
course.
who
That's what
wants
my mother
everybody
would
to know
say.
everything about you?
Exactly. So, where can people find your books? And do you have anything that you're working on right now or anything you want to? let everybody
Yeah,
know about?
well, they're at the Barnes& and Noble in DeWitt carries them.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
good.
then the Scandy Atlas Artisan crafts in the Scandy Atlas, they carry them, and I
Okay.
have to deliver some more.
But
And
if you didn't live in New
otherwise,
York State,
Amazon,
if
A-
you Amazon, okay.
Amazon,
Amazon. Okay.
Amazon is, you'll get it in a day.
Good.
Or in
Okay.
digital, 2 seconds.
That's
So,
great. All
yeah.
right. I have a couple of quick questions that have
Okay.
nothing to do about our topic, but they're just for fun. In 3 words, how do you describe Ava?
Busy, creative, and funny.
Excellent. And what is the weirdest thing you ever did to make money?
Oh, well, I assembled mascara tubes at the Estee Lauder factory in Farmingdale, New York,
That is hysterical.
for $1.85 an hour.
That's funny. I put counterparts in shoes when I was first married. I worked in a factory and did that. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for joining Ava and myself on this quest to create great characters. And thanks to my new friend and
yeah.
fellow author, Ava Zacardi. Next
Thank
week,
you.
episode 3, we're going to be stepping up to the microphone, how to be a keynote speaker, or let's say a successful one. From open mics to packed conference halls, what it really takes to build a speaking career that inspires. And it could be corporate, it could be Christian, it could be serious, funny. Your voice has a place. Let's find it. Don't miss this next week. It's going to cover everything you ever wanted to know about the speaking industry. Please hit the like button if you liked what you heard today and that big black subscribe button. Leave a comment, and I'll see you next time on Punchlines, Plots, and Procrastination. This is Yvonne Conti, inspiring joy, sharing truth, and changing lives. Make it a joy filled, beautiful day.